They have no authority to do certain things because someone else always has the authority.
They're not informed. Partly, most project managers don't even know what their margins
seriously.
are. They don't even know what their margins are.
Yeah. So the problem is, if you as a project manager want to have responsibility for your project, especially if it's a customer project, you need the all-over responsibility. And the company that needs someone to manage a profit center, this project is a profit center.
Yeah.
So if you have a profit center, you need a profit center manager,
Yeah.
someone who has the responsibility. It begins with the first contact with the customer.
I think the term in the pen book is benefits management.
No. It's not benefits. Yeah. No, it is. You said P&L.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's P&L authority, P&L responsibility.
If I can jump in here, because you mentioned something that I don't want to slip by, is you said, I think that especially in a more complex environment, if we truly have the more modern and technologically accurate attempt that actually projects are meant to success should be primarily defined through satisfaction. I think defining the contracts is important, and the whole concept of adaptable contracts. I think the agile movement is also kind of stretching the understanding of how to develop contracts. But once again, you cannot have a vendor who has an agile mindset to make you happier if you have clients that are not willing to do their part. It's like going ballroom dancing and your partner's dancing a different dance. Yes. I think that's an issue there. We're all over the place, and I'm loving this discussion with you, but I do want to get back to one statement that you made beforehand. You said one of the countermeasures, which might sound counterintuitive. Once again, I think the premise is that a lot of companies traditionally, when they're in fear, they reduce FTEs, they fire personnel, which is not always a good long-term or mid-term strategy. The other thing they do is they cut costs wherever they can, which is not my understanding of lean. Okay. My understanding of lean is cut the stuff that you're throwing out the window that has no benefit. The difference between productive and non-productive, right? But you are holding up against it and saying, no, especially in times of turmoil, companies should double down on education, which some people might have a difficulty emotionally underlining. And they might say, yeah, but Oliver, you and Mark, you're too...
It's our business.
It's our business, so yes, obviously we're talking in our favor. Absolutely. You know what? We don't care how terrible you're doing, but make sure you book us. No, just kidding. That's not what we're saying here. I agree with you that that education is important vestige or a good protection against this volatile times. But this is one of my experiences with education. You might have this as well. I'm always shocked, and I'm looking at it from a lean perspective. Companies will often commit to a subject matter. For example, project management. So let's train our staff in project management. And these people come in, they're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, okay? And if you do a good job, you can excite them. You have a fun 2-day, 3-day, 5-day exchange, and people are amazed about the prospects and the different fantasy worlds you're opening to them.
Yes. And
then they leave your seminar and they go back to their department. And this is what I always warn my trainees about. I say, listen, I'm gonna give you a harsh.
It's the Chaka seminars.
I'm gonna give you a harsh reality. When you leave the seminar, okay, nobody's gonna come up to you and ask you how it was, what you learned, how you're implementing it, and can I help? It's going to be swept underneath the carpet.
Good that you're back. I have some work for you.
Yeah, and then you try to do something, and they're like, "What are you doing? No. Stick to the game plan." I agree with you. I think we trainers are also challenged in this perspective. I think there's a deeper form of learning that needs to be addressed as well, which means, we often say that a training will create a certain motivation curve up here, and then there's usually a rapid decline of motivation to do it. I'm always amazed, especially if you're in a company over multiple generations of project managers, you'll have generations of project managers you've trained, so they all have the same language, they all have an understanding of the same process, but it's kind of everybody's afraid to be the first one to implement it. So from a management perspective, I think that education should not just be reduced to middle management and operational staff. I think education also, this is just one of the measures, needs to be addressed, even if it's in a shorter version for executives and senior managers.